In this video, I will be showing you photo load sampling to measure fine woody fuels. Fine woody fuels are dead and down wood less than 3 inches in diameter, and to measure them, we use a go-no-go gauge to decipher if it's a 1 hour, a 10 hour, or a 100 hour. Another way to measure fuels is using a planer's transect. That will not be seen in this video. Please see the handbook for more details on that. So photo load sampling uses a series of photographs as a guide to visually estimate the amount of fuel in each size class within a 1 meter squared quadrat. At CFRI, we use multiple quadrats per plot to account for variability within the surface fuel conditions. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you a practice quadrat. There are some things to keep in mind. One, I'm going to be picking up the wood and showing you as I'm going. Do not disturb the wood in your quadrat. Try and measure the wood leaning over and getting into your quadrat and measuring it, but don't be moving things around. We want to have as minimal impact on the plot as possible, so really keeping it together is key. So clearly I'm not in a plot right now. I'm actually at a natural area in Fort Collins, but I want to demonstrate to you how we would be recording this at a plot. So the way I like to start doing this is kind of get a general sense of what I'm seeing. So I'm first going around and visually estimating, okay, I got some 10s here, I got some 1s here, I got some, let's see, some more 1s, I got another 10, I have a 10 here. So I'm kind of doing this general visual estimation of what I'm seeing. Let's see, this is herbaceous actually, it's not woody, so I'm not gonna think about that. And I'm seeing a lot of 1s and I'm seeing a lot of 10s. So now in my brain, I'm actually gonna start with the 1s. I think it's easier because that's what I'm seeing the most, and then move to 10 hours. And then once I'm at 10 hours, I can kind of visually take out my 1s and just look at my 10s as I'm doing it. Again, however you wanna do it the way that feels most comfortable and best to you, but that's how I like to do quadrats. So as I'm measuring this one, I'm realizing from about here, it's a 1 hour fuel, but it's too big the rest of the way. So from here and beyond, it's actually a 10 hour fuel. This can happen with some of your fuels. Visually, you're gonna have to separate this piece in the 1 hour section and this piece in the 10 hour section. And so I'm visually taking away what I saw as 10 and 100 hours and just thinking about my sticks that qualified in the smallest slit here for 1 hour fuels. So when thinking about my 1 hours, I'm looking at my pictures and I'm thinking about how many I saw. I'm thinking about the length of how many I saw. So if you look at this picture, one of the first sticks is about 3 of these 10 centimeter blocks long, so about 30 centimeters long. So that's another way to visually see what's on the ground. So I'm looking and I'm seeing that those 2 sticks are about 60 centimeters long. Looking around, I'm seeing a couple sticks that maybe fit that. Plus, I don't know, I've got a couple more, but they're not as long. So I'm kind of in between the first picture and the second picture. I think it's larger than 0.05, but I think that it's smaller than 0.13. Now, if I had a partner at this point, I would ask them, where are you thinking? You know, what pictures are you near? Are you on a picture? Are you in between? And they would give me their answer and we would kind of pick some number in between. But since it's just me, I'm gonna take that extra time to really think about what I'm seeing and visualize what's on the ground. And I think what I'm seeing is a visual estimation of 0.07. So 10 hours has a bit more variability within the spacing. So 10 hours can be like just above a 1 hour, but it can also be just within this like larger diameter here. So I have one 10 hour that's a pretty big diameter for a 10 hour, and then I have one 10 hour that's actually like barely not a 1 hour, just barely a 10 hour. And then I have another 10 hour that's like right in between those two. So as I'm looking at my picture, I'm visualizing those different sizes. I'm thinking about how many sticks I'm seeing, how long they are, And when I think about it, visually, I'm actually right at that first picture because I got these 3 sticks. They're about the same length. I think the width of the longer one kind of takes up some of the length that might be missing. So I'm actually going to go with 0.05 as my visual estimation for 10 hours. So now I move on to 100 hour. When I was doing my initial visual estimation, I actually didn't measure any 100 hours. So in the 100 hour section on my data sheet, I would put 0.
A 1,000-hour fuel is defined as 3 inches in diameter of any length. So there are a number of things that we measure for each piece of 1,000-hour. First of all, species, is it a conifer or a hardwood? Then decay class, is it sound or is it rotten? Then the 2 diameters at each end, and then the length in tenths of feet. And then finally, is it a stump or not?
So similar to seedling and sapling, we are also going to measure this within a 1/100th acre of a plot, so 11.78 feet. All right, so I'm gonna tell Maggie that this is a conifer.
Conifer.
For the decay class, it's going to be sound. So when I like touch it, you know, it's not rotten, it's not decaying, it's not falling apart. It's a very sound piece of wood. And first I'm gonna take my first diameter. Let's see, it's not quite 3 here. So I'm gonna find where it is 3. Let's see, that's like getting closer. Awesome, okay. So I've got exactly 3 inches there.
Okay, 3.0. And then the edge of the plot is over right here. So let's have that.
All right, I'm gonna give
a
this
second.
to you.
Yep, sounds good. Let's swap.
Swap.
All right, our second diameter, since the plot stopped over here, is 5.3.
Next, we get the length of where we took these diameters. Thank you.
Um, 6.4 feet.
And we round the length to the nearest tenth of a foot. 6.4.